Hello, everyone. I am Guilty Gyoza, and this is a talk about topology. Let's do that. Let's start by thinking about space. Thanks to a pointer from ARB Moving Castle, we came across this awesome book called A Pattern Language, which talks about architecture and urban planning that is sensible. It just turns out that we can learn a lot from architecture and urban planning as we think about placemaking on the internet. So from the book, the author claims that the homogeneous city is killing life and culture. So the homogeneous and undifferentiated character of modern cities kills all variety of lifestyles and arrests the growth of individual characters. We're seeing that playing out in the digital realm. So internet is killing subcultures. If video killed the radio star, then it was the internet that killed subcultures. In the same way that social media provides an immediate entry point to different societal groups, it also homogenizes these societal groups. So we need a new digital tool built for a subculture-centric world. The next era of internet platforms must be natively built to serve the needs of smaller communities to enable them to be sustainable, but not necessarily scale. We are going back to the book, quoting the author of the idea of mosaic of subcultures. So do everything possible to enrich the cultures and subcultures of the city by breaking the city into vast mosaic of small and different subcultures with its own spatial territory and with power to create its own distinct lifestyle. That's the core belief that we have when it comes to space. Now, moving on to time, the other dimension. Time is at the same time mundane, but also a mystery, right? Time is commonplace, but also very confusing. Time is strange in this movie, where you have time that can travel in both directions, and you have existences in space-time that is interwoven onto itself, which is the reality of the Tenet world. In our industry, we started from a different notion of time. Bitcoin is time, right? Bitcoin is the decentralized timestamping server. It is a notion of time, but time is not a singular construct. There are multiple possible constructs. What we're interested in is a much more modern construct of time, not the classical notion of time. So in particular, if you're in this rocket of a famous thought experiment, you would think that light travels a shorter distance from the mirror to the detector. However, if you're outside the rocket, you would think that the light has to travel a longer distance to reach the detector. This is about relativity, and it's about truth that depends on your frame of reference, your observer frame. Light cone. Light cone is about looking to the past and to the future, recognizing that information travels at finite speed. And so therefore, there are stuff in the past that's actually not in your past. They couldn't have influenced you. And likewise, there's stuff in the future that's not in your future because you couldn't have influenced that. Whatever is outside of your light cone is independent and concurrent to you standing at the origin at this chart, the shaded area. And so when you are thinking about a large enough universe with many actors spread across the space, where information travels at a speed that is no longer negligible in such a space, you think about light cones and you think about simultaneity and concurrency. That is a concept that you cannot escape from. We argue that as we go from classical mechanics to relativity, we expand from constructing on the Earth to exploring the universe. And that applies also to the digital realms. We argue that to build bigger universes in the digital realms with more actors and agents, we need to utilize technologies of the relative construct of time. And there is a technology that represents this notion, which is CRDT. It's really a fucking mouthful. So let's say CRDT, CRDT, CRDT until you memorize that. Conflict-free replicated data types. DT is just your data type in whatever programming language you write. Replicated means that it is copied into all the machines that are involved in this program, and conflict-free is just the magical part that makes it run super fast. And the key thing here is CRDT assumes a construction of time that is resembling the notion of relativity. So if Bitcoin's time is classical physics, then CRDT is the relativistic counterpart. So now here comes the protocol. CRDT is not a theory alone. It has been widely deployed in the wild for the last a decade or two in geo-distributed databases, in Apple's own tech stack, in code editors, decentralized databases, and also Jupyter Notebook for people coming from a data science background. The collaborative mode of Jupyter Notebook is built on top of CRDT. So our belief is that this is a magical technology and we're going to spread it. We're Topology, we are protocol builders, we're building Topology protocol, which democratizes the magic of CRDTs on the internet. And this is a protocol that's not a blockchain protocol. It is a protocol that does not require a coin to work. It's not your uncle's blockchain or another layer 2. It is a protocol that is an internet protocol, and it is a protocol that is free for all. Free both in a sense of free beer and free speech. It's an internet protocol in a sense that if this protocol is any valuable to the industry and to ecosystems, then we will be able to propose this protocol to the IETF when sufficient implementation and adoptions have accrued so that we can standardize this magical technology on the internet to make the internet run super fast and suitable for placemaking and inhabitation. The so what question can be summarized from Tim Sweeney's notion of the open metaverse. So he said, open metaverse is a 60 hertz 3D simulation with 100 million concurrent users. Now, it is incredibly difficult, if not totally impossible to achieve that, while also protecting the decentralized root of the internet. However, I think our protocol represents a meaningful shot and a possibility at achieving that. So what's next of this project? We're thought leaders. We have been thinking in new ways and in bold ways, and we have a track record of influencing multiple companies to think in similar ways. And we are very happy and very proud of that because that means our new and bold thinking are actually not entirely delusional. And so that's what we will continue to do. We don't just think we do, because to ship protocols, we need to go from theory to reality. And so we also need a great team. And what a great team we have. We have a team of wizards whose background spans from national teams at the Youth Olympics for rowing. We had line cooks at Michelin level restaurants, who is not a Michelin star restaurant because Michelin Guide didn't cover the city. We had people competing at international programming competitions and physics competitions. And in our day-to-day R&D meetings, we have people that are proving their points by writing math proofs. So we believe that we have a wonderful team and we have a meaningful shot at this seemingly impossible future. So our plan for next year is pretty simple. We'll continue to lead in original thinking. We'll continue to grow our incredible team, and we'll continue to ship great open source code. Every line of code that we write is fully open sourced. So come to our Telegram group for new bold thinking and K-pop GIFs. And our code is open source on GitHub. Thank you. Any questions? Or come to our Telegram. We are pretty responsive there. Is blockchain still part of this? So the question was, is blockchain still part of this? Well, I think the central thesis is no, blockchain is not the only way to run decentralized programs. I think that has been a very long-standing assumption that whenever we go off-chain, we somehow go to centralization as a direction. That's absolutely not true. So CRDT represents the other path that's getting much less attention because not much digital money has accrued around that space. But there is an alternative to run programs in a peer-to-peer manner, and CRDT is the representative technology in that class. And so our protocol basically says we're going into a much less treaded path, and we want to standardize this on the internet.